Welcome to the Rotary Time Show, a public service program presented by Rotary District 7610, Virginia. On our programs, we talk with Rotarians and community leaders and discuss Rotary International and how each level helps local, national, and world communities. I'm your host, Dr. Deborah Jackson from the Rotary Club of McLean, Virginia. Today's program will celebrate District 7610's Governor Sheila Brennan, who recently closed out her year as District Governor for the 2022-23 Rotary year. We are honored to have the District Governor here this evening to share her many accomplishments from her tenure. Welcome, PDG Sheila, to the Rotary Times home.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here, and it's wonderful to see you.
Oh, absolutely, considering we just saw each other not too long ago at the RI convention, which was held earlier this year. So it was great seeing you and so many others there. PDG Sheila, let's start out by helping our audience learn a little bit about you. Can you briefly share with them your Rotary background and the experiences that I know there are many and they've been varied that brought you to this point where you're the 7610 District Governor?
Certainly. It's been a journey, I'll tell you. I actually started out the way many of our Rotarians start out. I was a volunteer for 3 years with the Dulles Rotary Club, just having fun with their service projects and getting to know everyone. I knew the president that first invited me, and when their service contract ended with the venue that I was volunteering at, it kind of went by the wayside. And then I accidentally met a man who has since become my husband. He took me in 2013 to his Rotary Club's fundraiser, which is a 3-day festival in Vienna, Virginia. And he actually walked me around and showed me the whole venue and basically what the Rotary Club does, and then explained to me the fundraising side of Rotary. And I knew immediately I had to learn more about this and be part of this. I have to tell you, Dr. Jackson, I could picture, I saw a little girl with tickets in her hands to go on a Ferris wheel. And the look on her face, she could not smile any bigger. Oh. And what went through my brain was some young lady, a little girl her age, 5 or 6 years old, in a third world country, getting her first clean glass of water to drink, and the same smile on her face. And these two young ladies will never ever meet or understand the impact that they had on each other. I understood that immediately. And I joined the club 3 days later.
Oh my goodness.
And since then, I have done just about every job in the club. I was secretary for many years. I've been on the board. I ended up, after 3 years in the club, I was club president. I thought they were crazy asking me to be president after only 3 years. But it was an amazing, amazing year for the whole club, for everyone. And not too long after that, I was asked if I would put my application in for district governor. And I actually asked PDG Jonathan if he realized who he had called, because I thought he had made a mistake. So I just decided after being president that I had to get involved in the district. I wanted to see and learn everything I could possibly learn about Rotary.
And we are
I will tell you, I spent my entire year as president doing history lessons for the club.
On Rotary.
It was a riot.
Great. Great. Well, no one can say, what's that old Tina Turner song, "What's Love Got to Do with It?"
You got it.
With you, with your husband Matt, with Rotary, all those loves that you had, and you left me with the image of the two little girls, and
Absolutely.
making a difference, which you did. You carried that passion and
Absolutely.
that vision forward. In fact, how did that impact you in terms of your role as a district governor?
Wow. I have changed so much. The week before I was sworn in as district governor, I was in such turmoil because I knew what I wanted to do for my district governor visits, but nobody had ever done anything like this before. And I was afraid I would upset the clubs and all the past district governors by really going outside the box. But I finally sat and just listened to my heart, and I followed my heart. And this year has been one of the best years ever. I'm telling you, I thought my president year was amazing, and this has just been 100 times bigger than that because I didn't do a conventional district governor visit, standing in front of the club for a half hour and reading slides and lecturing. I actually engaged every member of every club that I visited. They had to get out of their chairs and work with me on a wonderful facilitated activity that basically laid out the Rotary Action Plan in a live environment to show the clubs how that action plan really works inside of their clubs. It's been fabulous.
And how many clubs did you visit? How many clubs are in the district?
There are 54 clubs in the district, and I actually visited 59 because I visited a couple of the satellite clubs.
Oh, okay.
And I also went to 2 of our Rotaract clubs as well.
Wonderful.
So it's just been a glorious year.
You sounds like it. What were your priorities for this year?
My priorities were, first of all, the care and comfort of our membership and our clubs. The 3 years prior to me stepping in were really rough years, and especially the year before, where we started on Zoom, went back to in-person meetings, and then had to get shut down again. And it was so much turmoil, not only for the Rotarians, but for our families and anybody with children in schools and stuff. So Rotary International President Jennifer Jones, the very first goal she shared with us was care and comfort of our membership. So that was my number one priority. And I had decided that I was not going to come up with a whole new list of goals for the clubs to fulfill, because Rotary had already done that with the Rotary Action Plan. So that was my pathway through the whole year. And I can tell you, it was so phenomenal watching the clubs embrace this and myself growing as I went along, because I learned more and more about the whole meaning of the Rotary Action Plan. And we all, the follow-on district governor-elect, district governor nominee, and nominee designee, we all talk about the Rotary Action Plan with the clubs when we are with the clubs, to keep it open
alive. Yes,
and
yes.
make sure that they know and understand the full impact that action plan has on us. I didn't need to create goals. Rotary had already done it for me.
You. Did you have a couple of setbacks that you can share with us from this year?
I did. And I'm sure every governor does. It was, the smaller clubs struggling to find members and deciding exactly what their future should be, whether they should continue. We had one club that actually had to turn in their charter. They didn't really want to, but they had no other choice. But all of those members merged into another club. So we didn't lose the members. We just lost one of the clubs, which someday may get rechartered again.
Yeah.
We had that happen this year where a club that had turned in their charter, the city just couldn't believe they didn't have a Rotary Club anymore, and they started really supporting the club. So they were rechartered a month ago. We also had a club that was on the verge of turning in their charter or merging in with another club, and they had an all-hands meeting at the president's home, and they sent all of us an email the next morning. They not only got a president, they have a plan of action, they have a strategic plan, they have volunteers that stepped up. I mean, it was really comforting to know, because we kept offering to go out and sit with them and help them. But all they had to do was start talking about it with each other. And they felt that they needed to continue to move forward. They have a very serious couple of service projects, and they just couldn't see not supporting their community with those service projects, and that's what really got them turned around.
Well, do you think because of all of those issues that you're speaking of, and many of them, I suspect, I'm not sure, but I would venture to say many of them are a result of the spillover from us when we came out of COVID and the pandemic.
I think so too.
Do you think that changed you as a district governor in terms of how you had to operate in order to keep the district and the clubs moving forward?
Absolutely. I'll tell you, I went with past District Governor Pat Borowski last year to several of her visits, and my goodness, what a powerful speaker, and everything that she talked to the clubs about that was so on point for every club. And I thought, how am I going to follow in her footsteps? And that's when I started my turmoil of what I was going to do. And I decided, just watching my own club, that I really wanted to get them energized. And do you know, some of the clubs, like I'm sure every district governor suffers with, oh, the governor's coming, I'm staying home today. Well, there were a couple of clubs that I went and did my Rotary Action Plan live interpretation. They asked me to come back.
Oh, wonderful.
Because they had people that were not there the day of my visit. So I went back 2 or 3 times to a couple of clubs, and it was wonderful. And they are so energized. I can't believe the communication that I have with the clubs today, and not just the presidents, it's every level of membership in the clubs.
Yeah. Well,
it's been really fab. I have 1,800 new best friends.
That's wonderful to hear. We're going to take a short break and be right back and talk more with past District Governor Sheila Brennan. She served in the 22-23 year of Rotary. Please stay with us.
We are this close.
We're this close.
We are this close.
Of wanting
to making history.
This close to changing the world.
We're this close.
This close. This close to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease
ever again. This close.
We are this close to ending polio.
Ending polio.
All we need is you.
This close.
If we don't act now, we may lose this chance forever. Help Rotary make history at endpolionow.org.
Welcome back to the Rotary Times. We're here talking with past District Governor Sheila Brennan. She was the governor for the District 7610 for the 22-23 Rotary year. And we've just heard some amazing analysis or reflections about what happened during her year as governor. Let's talk now about the foundation, okay? The district foundation. We know it's critical to the success of the programs of the district. What programs do you think as a district should receive this highest priority in terms of funding?
Oh, absolutely, the foundation. And, every single club I visited, I actually printed out of Rotary Club Central their 5-year history of their membership and their foundation. And we can't have a foundation without membership. We need to have the foundation in order to continue all the work that we're doing around the world. So I showed them every single club, their 5-year history. And throughout the last month, I have been working with every single club on getting into Rotary Club Central. They were a little intimidated because it's an automated system, but they have discovered that it's very easy to get into, and it's easy to find the data and the information, and they can see where they've been and where they need to improve. And we have talked about those improvement areas throughout the last month while we're working on the goals that they achieved this year as they're going into next year.
Gotcha. Okay. What did you enjoy most as a district governor?
Oh, visiting the clubs. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you, I put 12,000 miles on my car. I don't even care. It was watching them grow. Dr. Jackson was fabulous from the time I walked in the door. I mean, I had so many clubs that during their happy talk after our activity would say, I was really dreading the governor coming. I wish she'd be back here as often as possible. That warmed my heart, and it happened more than once. So it was, I knew I was in the right place at the right time.
At the right time. How about there may have been something you wish you had had an opportunity to do, but the year just was too short?
Oh, yes. I wish we could have gotten youth exchange off the ground further than we did. As you know, the program was shut down for 3 years, but I will tell you that the current committee members and committee chair and I spent the year really learning everything we can about youth exchange. And that is a priority going into the new year, and the clubs are ready for it.
I hear you. We know, and I know personally, because I've seen many, many pictures of your family throughout the year. Tell us about how they supported you, because this is not your time. This time over the course of this year belonged to Rotary. How did your family support you?
Well, first of all, they listened to me constantly talking about Rotary. Everywhere I went, and I talk about the fabulous clubs. And I'll tell you, the best thing that came out of this was my husband, Matt. He is a 30-year Rotarian, or just about 30-year Rotarian. He had only been to one club up until the point where he met me 10 years ago. And since then, he has gone to almost every single club with me. And I'll tell you, he is so energized himself. He cannot believe the people we met and the difference in every single club and their personalities and what they do. He could not get over some of the projects these clubs did. It was fabulous watching him grow along with myself.
Wow. Do you think he may aspire to the governor?
No, I don't think he will, but he's always going to hang on my coattail because I have aspirations. So he's going to hang with me.
All righty, that works too. What might you describe as a challenge that you had?
My calendar.
Okay.
My calendar, and it's true, every single past district governor warned me about it. There were a couple of times where I was either late or completely missed a meeting. And that just devastates me. And I know it's just part of the job, but I don't want to let any of the clubs down. I don't think I did,
Yeah.
but that was my biggest challenge, was making sure I keep that calendar forefront in my face.
Well, that's a challenge for most people, not just you, but just in general. So I commend you
Absolutely.
on not having to hire someone to do that calendar for you, but keeping it yourself. If you
Right.
could leave the incoming District Governor Renee Laws a special wish, what would it be?
Oh, I wish that she keeps her energy level the way she has it right now. She is a fabulous individual. And if she can maintain her energy level, it will just continue in the clubs with where they're at right now and continue to move them forward. I'll tell you, these clubs are ready. They know the governors that are coming up, and they're so energized and excited about it. So I think DGE Renee is just going to really bring the clubs even further along than I did and past District Governor Paprowski did.
Absolutely. You all have done a remarkable job in the transition from year to year. So, what's next for PDG Sheila Brennan?
Well, I am actually going to go into the Finance Committee with past District Governor Glenn Yarborough and work on events and the budget and merging the two program areas together to make sure that our membership in our clubs and our district committees understand the financing in the district. And I'm also getting more involved at the zone level with some of the planning at the zone level, and I will be working with CPETs this year as well with the DAC-DB and the registrar work. So I've got plans.
Yeah, you
I'm
said you
keeping
had some
busy.
aspirations. You're going to be busy, especially when
Yep.
CPETS rolls around. You will be busy.
Oh yeah, they sent me the calendar and I went,
I know.
I'd forgotten.
You've forgotten what that looks like.
Yes.
So, your final thoughts. How would you describe your legacy in District 7610 and across Rotary?
I can tell you my legacy is going to be showing the clubs and giving them the skill to be able to reach within their club and reach out into their communities and beyond and see beyond just their club, to engage each other, both internally and externally from the club, to be able to accept the changes that we all bring to the table, the adaptability, and utilizing the historical knowledge that every member in the club has, and the new skill sets coming in with the new members to really continue to have the impact that they have in their communities that are going to really help create those lasting changes that we need to do.
Well, I want to thank you, past District Governor Sheila Brennan, for the gifts and the talent that you brought to the district during your tenure as District Governor. It's been amazing, and I'm sure I, along with so many others, would say thank you, thank you, thank you for your impact, because we are growing, and that legacy will always be remembered. So thank you for what you've given us.
Thank you as well.
Well, it's been great, and I hope to see you in Singapore, so remember that too. Okay? All right. Funding for this program is made possible by the generosity of the Bailey's Crossroads Rotary Club, Virginia. For the Rotary Times program, I am your host, Dr. Deborah Jackson from the Rotary Club of McLean, Virginia. You're welcome to join us at a Rotary Club in your area for either breakfast, lunch, dinner, or a service project. You can find a club near you by looking us up on the internet. Many clubs are hosting and conducting meetings virtually or with some form of hybrid approach. You just need to look us up for the details. Remember, our time is your time, and it's time well spent. Please join us for our next program as we continue to celebrate Rotary's 117 years of service above self.